Hi, class of 2020. I miss seeing all of you guys out in the hallway, in my classroom, around the school, and I wanted to let you guys know first off how much I feel for you. I know your senior year is supposed to be a memorable time, chock full of all of these experiences that culminate your high school journey. And right now, a lot of those experiences are uncertain and there's questions surrounding them. And frankly, that sucks. And I'm sorry. But I want you to know that we're here for you and we are doing our best to make sure that you get to still have those experiences and an awesome ending to your senior year. So I know one of the main questions that's been coming up from a lot of you as seniors and some of your parents has been, what the heck is happening with senior project? So Mr. Storley, Mrs. Kleinwer, myself, and administration have been working on an updated plan to what your senior project and senior seminar is going to look like during this distance learning time. So we just want to give you a quick update on what that process is going to look like moving forward. Per our district's graduation requirements, every senior is still going to be required to complete a senior project and their board's presentation, but that process is going to look a little different now that we've implemented the distance learning. So senior project is designed to help you learn critical thinking skills, some problem solving skills, and professional and life skills for beyond high school. And oof, what a time to be doing this. So we are still asking that you complete 15 hours or more towards a senior project, but that might look a little different than what you were originally approved to do. So let's break this down. You might be in the boat where your original approved project is still able to be completed and you can do that at home and without the help of a mentor. If that's the case, or maybe you're already done, great. You are going to continue on as planned and originally approved. If you are somebody whose original approved project is one that you've already started, but you're not quite sure how you would finish that at home, you might want to make some modifications to that. So for an example, maybe your original approved project was to create an art lesson and teach that to a group of elementary students. Well, since you can't teach that to a group of elementary students, maybe you make the modification where you teach that art project to your younger siblings. So your second option would be to complete your original approved project, but with some modifications that allow you to complete this project and your hours at home. If you do plan on making modifications, those need to be approved by your senior seminar teacher, and they can help you walk through what modifications might look like if you're still wanting to do your original approved project at home. The next scenario is that you had an original approved project that you started, but there's really no way for you to finish that approved project at home or without the help of your mentor. So what we're proposing is you can still count any hours that you have already done towards your original approved project, but if you're not able to complete that at home during distance learning, we ask that you fill the remainder of your hours with learning some adulting or life skills. And we've got a whole list of those adulting or life skills that you can look through, and you can pick and choose different ones that you want to learn about and practice doing while you're at home. So this ties into the last option, where if you haven't started your original approved project and it's one that you cannot complete at home or without the help of a mentor, and you still need 15 hours, you can get all of your 15 hours by doing those adulting or life skills. And again, we have a whole list that we'll post for you on Schoology. You can look through and pick and choose any of those adulting or life skills, or maybe there's something that's on that list that you will want to learn how to do and you want to propose that. That's great. So if you have a different project idea of something that you could do at home with the help of your parents or maybe even a virtual mentor, awesome. Please talk to your senior SEM teacher about what that plan looks like, and they'll let you know whether or not you can go ahead with that or if we need to make some modifications. So in addition to completing 15 or more hours of a senior project using one of those options detailed above, you are still going to be required to complete your eFolio. We have those set up, and that's something you can easily work on from at home with an internet connection. For your eFolio, the only remaining things we're going to ask you to add are the following that I'll detail and show you now on Schoology. So the first thing we're asking you to do is to make sure that you create a project log. This is tracking all of your time that you've spent on your senior project, listing specific tasks that you've worked on, and then the total hours as well. The next thing that we're asking you to do is to have some project samples. So this is photo, video, audio, tutorial links, or any other evidence of your actual project learning, the different stages of your project, and your completed project. Super, super, super important, especially if you're doing that adulting and life skills. We want to know, how did you learn how to do that adulting life skill? And then we want to see you actually practicing and mastering that skill. The same goes for if you had an original approved project. We want to know, how did you learn about that project? What were the different stages you did in that project? And what did that project look like when it was finished? So you're going to need at least 2 or more pieces or samples of evidence showing your learning and the process throughout your project. The next thing that you're going to need is the project memoirs and self-evaluation, and this is just a reflection on your entire process. We have outlined in Schoology a list of a couple questions for you to answer and reflect on that you'll post on your eFolio. And the final thing that you're going to be required to have in your eFolio is the project verification form. And this is signed by either your mentor, if they were someone who is still able to connect with you virtually. If you're not able to virtually connect with your mentor, or you've modified your project so that you're doing some of those adult or life skills, this would need to be signed by a parent. We will post more of an in-depth explanation of each of these requirements on Schoology. They are all open for you to view right now under the Project eFolio tab. So you've got the project log, the project samples, the memoirs self-evaluation, and the project verification form. And again, your senior SEM teacher will go over these more in depth as we continue on our distance learning plan. So the last big thing is tackling how senior boards are going to work. We are hoping that we are back in person on May 5th. If that's the case, at that time you are going to work with a small group, which will be 2 or 3 other classmates, and practice presenting your board's presentation. This is not graded. It's just a way for you to get looking at what that presentation could be. Then you will have a final dress rehearsal that is done in front of the entire class and that your senior SEM teacher will grade. Then on May 27th, we would still have our senior boards night. That would be in front of different faculty and community members, and you would need to pass that in order to graduate. If for some reason we have our distance learning expanded after that May 5th date, we would look at doing a virtual dress rehearsal, and that would be on Zoom or Google Hangout, and that would be with your senior seminar teachers, and they would still grade that. And then your boards night would still be on May 27th, and again, that would be done virtually in front of different faculty and community members. We're hoping that's not the case, but if it is, we will tackle this virtual boards experience. So I imagine you might be feeling a little overwhelmed, a little stressed thinking about this new senior seminar format and all of your other classes and maybe work or caring for your family or siblings. So I just want to alleviate some of your concerns right now and let you know that our senior seminar class itself and what we're asking for you to do during this distance learning has built in a lot of time for you to work on all of those portfolio requirements. So here's our updated calendar. You'll see we are this week spending some time working on commitment cards and the spent budgeting game, and then we'll spend the next couple weeks on taxes. And after that, from the 20th on, you are having work time to either work on getting more hours towards your project and completing that, or to work on doing your logs, your samples, or your memoirs and reflections. And then hopefully when we get back on the 4th, this is when we will spend some time working on your actual board's presentation. And then you'll do your board small groups presentations, your dress rehearsals, and you'll finally, hopefully, get to do your actual senior boards on May 27th. So I know that was a lot of information. At this point, if you can complete this Senior Sem Project update form just to give us an idea of where you're at and what your plan is moving forward, and then if you have any questions about this updated process, that will help us, the Senior Sem teachers, be able to reach out to you or your parents and connect one-on-one to answer some of those questions. We'll also post this list of different potential adulting or life skills that you can take a look at if this is part of what you're going to need to do for your project. So take a look for those online on Schoology.